Hey everybody, this is Hey everybody, this is Trigger Strifey and Refson of Blake Trigger Gamers, and today's video we are talking about the Nintendo Switch like everyone else is right now. So let's just jump right into it. How do you feel about the Switch?
It's interesting. I'm not quite sure about it. I guess the first time I watched the trailer, I was mostly trying to decipher it and see what exactly it could do, which it showed. And then what really surprised me that I was playing Skyrim, so maybe it's a little stronger processing system. But other than that, I didn't know much about it until recently.
Okay, yeah. It's definitely, it's going to be stronger than the Wii U, you know, that's for one. And so it's going to have enough processing power, at least on a PC level. But it seems kind of like, since it's playing like Skyrim, which is like, how old is Skyrim?
Skyrim is pretty old now. But that's the thing with Nintendo, is that their system isn't on par with like PlayStation 4, Xbox in the first place. They never have been.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, true. Like they don't actually have to compete because it's all about like, you know, their innovations and
exactly. They have their own unique set of games, their own original games, like Mario specifically, Nintendo, and then they have some other stuff coming out that is specifically just for Nintendo, like Xenoblade Chronicles is mostly just Nintendo.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you know the Xeno series used to be on Sony PlayStation. So one thing I'm just really curious is how much people are gonna keep buying it after. It's like it's gonna be the only new console to come out this year because the Sony and unless Sony or like Microsoft announce a console at like E3 or something. But I really think it's gonna be the only console for this year. And so with that said, they've got a long time to see how they're gonna advance against Sony and Microsoft.
I honestly think that when the system is released, it's gonna have that hype like it does with the Wii U, and that's gonna drop by the end of this year. It's a reliable system, you know, like you said. It's also a family-based system too. So when your family's finally go and get the system, or you know, that's it.
Yeah, I really think that even though it's selling on the idea of being, you know, mobile, I think that's going to actually, I don't really think people are going to use this on the go as much as Nintendo wants people to do. Because the fact is that it's also like a giant tablet too.
Yes.
So usually if you're walking around with a giant tablet just like playing games, and it's kind of wide too, so chances are most people tend to break tablets on every once in a while just by dropping their smash. And that's the whole system. That's not just the tablet. That's like literally the whole system. Just like gone.
Well, the question is durability.
And also what's actually really, now that I think about it, you can't buy the system separately from the dock.
So you have to get the dock with the system.
Yeah, so you would have to buy
get all of them together.
So you have to get a whole new bundle.
So if you go and you're walking down the street, let's say in New Donk City.
Hell yeah, that's the name of the city in Mario.
New Donk City. You know, and you're walking, you're playing this tablet, and there's hundreds of people on the street. You're gonna bump into each one of them at some point. Oops, I dropped it. And you're gonna have to buy another $300 system.
Yeah.
So how durable is that thing really? Like, it's not like the Nokia phone back then where you throw it in the wall and it breaks through the wall.
Yeah, and it should be designed by Nokia people.
Yeah.
That shit would never break. But yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, how much are people gonna actually use the functionality of this system? To the point, I really think it's gonna. My idea of the whole system is that it's gonna. People are going to play with it, take it out for a little bit for the first few months, check it out, see how it is, or play around the house. But I don't really think people are going to take it like outside because of that whole fear of like, you know, maybe breaking it or like, you know, bumping into people.
Or it getting stolen. It's a big tablet, can easily just grab it out of your hand and run away with it.
And pretty much that's the system. It's not like you have to carry and control like anything. Then at that point you're like, oh, I just got like the system and I can just buy a dock. And I got like it for half off. Because when you think about that, that's pretty much what you could do. It's like it's messed up as that is you could just take the system and then just get a dock and there you go. Just because it's that functionality of like it's really neat, but it also has a lot of like downsides on it. So I really think it's gonna like people are gonna play around the house, see how it is. Also, if you play around the house, like let's say you take it off and you're playing Zelda, you're like I'm gonna go up to my room. Then 3 hours later, you come back down, set it back in there, and then you have to wait again.
Yeah, that's So big issues is the durability, the time, I guess the list of games that they'll be releasing.
Yeah, because the games are kind of spread out. Like even though they're like, there's like good exclusive Nintendo games in there, but they're kind of separated because like Mario's coming out in fall, then.
Mario and Zelda are necessary as one of the first games to be released anyways. That's Nintendo's mascot, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is Mario's not getting released till the end of this year.
Well, then they come out with Zelda first.
Yeah, they're coming out. Zelda's launched, but Mario's not coming out till a while. And so you have those coming out, and then a bunch of other interesting games, and then Splatoon comes out a few months later. And that's kind of the thing, is that a lot of games are kind of like, eh. So I'm curious to see. I'm more curious now that I think about it to see year 2 the Nintendo Switch, because I can foresee that this year is just gonna be people are gonna test the water, see, mess around with it, like a newfangled like cool technology, and then there's not enough games to get hardcore into the system and really love it, unless there comes out some more that we don't know about that Nintendo is hiding throughout the year. So now that that's all been said, interested in buying it?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I always take a while before I buy a system anyways, just because they're being thrown out there to be tested. You know, it's something. I still don't even have the Wii U yet. I want to get it, but since you told me they ceased production, I should probably get one now.
Yeah, they'll probably go down in price, but then they'll go up in price, because that's usually what happens with discontinued products. They'll go down, and then once they realize they're getting really low on like the quantities, and
then people are realizing, oh, they're gonna stop making it. Let's get it now. That's when they'll raise the prices.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm riding that same boat. I don't think I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna wait probably till year 2, where they maybe do like a little bundle to get people into the system, because from what I've seen, it's gonna be the fact that like everybody who is interested in this console is gonna have one, so you can go up to your friend's house and try it and see how it works. And that's what I'm interested in, because there's not many games for it. Like, that's the huge bulk of a console for me, is that you need to have games. If you don't have like really good solid games coming out, which the only one I'm really interested in is Zelda and Mario, but those come way in between each other.
And also for now, the Wii U still doesn't have a great range of games.
Yeah. Like, true. It's like, that's kind of one the Wii U thing was, that there's a lot of like solid games that you want, but there's not enough to make you want the whole system as a whole.
The whole thing about them doing a Super Nintendo game each month and having you not being able to have it after that month ends, maybe that's another thing too, just because they know they're not going to have a great range of games, so they're going to bring back a bunch of the Super Nintendo games free for a month while you're subscribed or so, and you only have a month to play. That's still, yeah. But it's probably like another thing too. It's like, oh hey, we don't have that many games. Here's a free Super Nintendo game each month that you can play for 30 days, and then if you beat it, if you don't, oh well, here's another game.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that actually annoys me now that I think about it, is the fact that they're doing, like, I don't know, like, exactly. I saw this in the video, someone talking about it, but it's, like you said, Nintendo's going to give you a game a month, and then you don't keep the game, which is so confusing. It's a Super Nintendo game, and Super Nintendo, or I think it's Nintendo both too, and you don't get to keep the game. And I'm like, why? I mean, when you really think about it, Sony and Microsoft give away AAA titles, games that like have come out that at $60 when they first came out, and they like sometimes even like 4 or 5 months like in between. Sometimes they give indie games that came out just like 2 months, and they're giving those away free in like 4 games at a time on different types of like the handhelds and everything, and Nintendo's giving away games you can actually find on emulators and download and play on your own. And you don't even get to keep the game for a month.
That's what I mean. They're forcing you to play their games free for each month to have more range of games, because they know they're not going to have that many.
Yeah.
As in PlayStation and Xbox, they have a great range of games, and even with the free AAA games they have that they give out each month that you can keep, they still have a lot more games than Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's just, it sounds like maybe it's a backup for Nintendo. Let's just kind of throw a game out each month, force you to play it to get you distracted, so that way you don't know that, or in the back of your head, they really don't have that many games.
Well, at least like that's kind of cool, but come on, like at least give us the game. Like let's have it. I mean, it's a Super Nintendo game, for God.
I bet you eventually they'll change it.
Yeah, I think enough people complain like the fact that literally, because you're gonna have to pay for the subscription. You're paying for a subscription now. It's gonna cost like around the same thing as PSN Plus or like Xbox Live Gold, and you're paying for it, and it's gonna end up in this point where you're gonna be like, I'm paying for this subscription to talk and play online, like all the other subscriptions. But now Nintendo's only giving me a game a month, and it's a Super Nintendo game, and it's not even like I don't even get to keep it. When Sony and Microsoft are giving out games that we get to keep, and they're like AAA titles, and you think about that, it's like, why the fuck isn't like Nintendo just like fucking going hardcore and being like, oh, let's give you 2 Super Nintendo games, or like 2 Nintendo games, or even let's go into our other parties. How about an N64 game? How about a GameCube game? How about something really cool and interesting, like to bring up like that whole like surprise of the system, you know, bring it up and be like, holy shit, this actually seems like a good deal. But that seems just so counterintuitive to just be actually like, you get one game and you don't even get to keep it. You get to play it for a month just to try it out, and then yeah, I mean, like honestly, you could just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go download the game on the internet and play it on an emulator because I could have it forever.
Maybe if you play it enough, you get a bunch of Nintendo coins and actually buy the game. I don't know. If they're going mobile, they're gonna do microtransactions mostly. That's how mobile games are. It's a bunch of microtransactions.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be interested in seeing year 2. But I think year 1's pretty much, after this presentation that they've done, they've pretty much shown what their idea is, just to kind of test the waters. That's basically what I've got from the presentation. Just test the waters, see how it's going to go. Let the people try out the new games that we have set up for them. And then maybe year 2, we're going to slam hard with like good stuff. So I'm really interested in year 2. So I'm probably not going to pick it up this year. Yeah, so, but yeah, that's our ideas and thoughts on the whole Nintendo Switch. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm ToxicxEternity, and this is Refson.
Winning
of Blake Trigger Gamers. And I want to say stay triggered, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching our video. If you liked it, then give it a like. If you want more, then subscribe to our channel. So this is ToxicxEternity of BTG saying stay triggered, and I'll see you next time.